And see, now part of me wants to make this a challenge. I need to read these books by the end of the year or else. But part of me is like, Beth, you're putting a lot on your plate. We've got 3.5 months before the end of the year. I need to read these books. You know what? We're gonna do it. I need to read these 10 books by the end of the year, or I've got to unhaul them. You know, because I like to torture myself. So today I'm going to be pulling 10 books off my shelves, the 10 before the end, aka the 10 books that I want to read before the end of 2025 or else, because I've put a challenge to it. I haven't even picked out the books yet. I turned on the camera. We're doing this in real time. I'm going to go through and pick out 10 books. And now that I have this ultimatum hanging over my head, maybe we should turn this into a little series of me vlogging reading these books. That could be fun. That could be fun. Let me know in the comments below. But we're going to swing on over to the bookshelves and I'm going to grab, actually I see her right now, I'm going to grab my first book. So I have read 2 books by Miss Hannah, what is her name? Kristen Hanna. What? I have read 2 books by Miss Kristen Hanna. Both have been 5 stars, new favorites. They have made me want to dive more into the historical fiction genre. However, I haven't read her most famous book, the one that everybody loves, and that is Nightingale. And let me show you something that's very special about this book. She sent me a signed copy. That's definitely a sign that this book, I have to read this book. Yes, I have to read this book. That's this video. Hello. So the only thing that I truly know about this book, other than it is historical fiction, highly loved. I believe there's a movie coming out as well. Dakota Fanning and her sister, I believe, are playing the sisters in this book. I hope that's the right book adaptation that I'm thinking. I could be completely wrong. I'll let you know. But it's about 2 sisters. I want to say it's World War II, and each sister has their own path that they're going down, completely opposite directions, and it's sad. And I hear I'm gonna cry, which I love. So that's all that I really know about this book. And truly, I think that's all that I really need to know. She's on the list. While we're over here, I went ahead and grabbed a romance book off my shelves. This is a author that I picked up this year for the first time. I read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I fell head over heels for that book. That book gave me literal butterflies in my tummy as if I was the one falling in love, okay? I love that book. I love the angst. I love the tension. I love waiting until 95% in before they even kiss. Like, I love that. And so when I raved about it on Instagram, people were like, okay, you need to pick up the rest of her books because Mariana Zapata is the queen of that. And so I was like, say less. So then I read Wait For It. It was pretty good. I think I gave that one like a 4-star. And then I read Culty. I think I gave that one like a 3.5 star. And then somebody said, girl, you need to pick up All Roads Lead Here. That's her other like top tier. Say less, I actually have it on my shelves and I've had this is an ARC. So I've had this since, I want to say 2023, because this particular edition came out January of 2024 and I have not read it yet. That is a crime. Especially now that I know that I love her books. So the only thing that I know about this one is we have our female main character who is recently divorced and wanting to start over back, I believe, in her hometown, like a small little town in Colorado. Before she gets there, she like rents an apartment, a garage apartment online, and she like pays for her rent and her deposit and whatever online. She gets there in the middle of the night and lo and behold, Tobias, the dude, was like, I did not rent this apartment out to anybody. His son did, because he's a single dad. His son rented the apartment out because his son wants extra spending money. And so that's what he did. And at first Tobias was like, no, I don't want you living here. But then I believe he lets her stay. And I guess I'm assuming that they fall in love. That's all that I know. But that's all that I need to know, you know? Okay, now we're gonna swing back over here where we have our thriller and fantasy and some Stephen King books. But we're gonna talk about this, Julie Clark's Ghostwriter. This book, I feel like you're very close. There you go. This book has been recommended to me a lot lately. And I have 2 other Julie Clark books on my shelves, which I probably should add them to this pile because they've been sitting there a lot longer. However, I'll get to them, but this one has been recommended to me a lot recently since it came out, okay? So this one we have back in like 1970 something. 2 kids, I think, burned in a house fire, 2 siblings, and I think their 3rd sibling survived, but people like whispered behind his back and like rumored and stuff that Vincent, was the one who actually like killed his siblings or whatever. Anyway, years goes by and now he's a grown-ass man and he's an author, and a popular one at that, and he has a daughter. It's time for his last book, okay? And so he gets with his daughter because his daughter is in fact a ghostwriter for him, and she's gonna ghostwrite his final book, except he's not gonna feed her a fictional story. Nay. He's going to be telling her the truth of what happened that night his 2 siblings died. I really hope it is as good as it sounds, because that sounds so good. So good. Also, let's take a minute for these sprayed edges. I'm not a fan of sprayed edges, okay? And if I can save me $1 on a book, I'd rather not have them. I don't ever show them on my shelves, so like, to me, what's the point? But these, let's stop focusing on me. Focus on the book. That's stunning, okay? Stunning. But that's book number 3. Keeping it in the thriller mystery genre, up next is this one here, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Let me tell you how long I've had this book and not picked it up. Right when it came out, hadn't heard anybody talk about it. It was brand new, freshly released, right, at the Barnes & Noble. And the husband was like, this sounds good, and he picked it up. And I was like, you know what, it does sound good. And neither one of us has yet to read it. And I already have a few of the other ones in this series, and I haven't read them yet. So all that I know about this one is it's a retirement village, and there's a group of guys. I don't know if it's guys. There's a group of people. Is it all guys? Is it girls? I don't know. 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the jigsaw room to discuss unsolved cases or crimes. Together they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. Now, I am also not a big TV person, yet this is the second book I'm going to mention because of TV. There's an adaptation either coming out or it has just released that looks so good. The cast looks good. I'm interested in watching it. So, book number 4. So I'm taking you down here on this shelf. This is what I call my Nordic noir shelf, right? I have the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series here. I think I'm missing like 1 or 2 in this. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter because I've not even started the series yet. And then I have some Joe Nesbo books. Some are part of series, some are not. And then I have some Lars Kepler's books, which are also part of a series. And then I've read The Crow Girl, okay? And then here on the end I have The Chestnut Man. But I haven't read any of these other books. And these have been on my bookshelves for a few years now. We need to get to them. It's getting ridiculous, okay? So the book that I'm gonna choose from this shelf to add to this TBR is going to be eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm just gonna do this, you know? Because I feel like this is a classic thriller book that I haven't got to yet. And as a thriller girly, I need to get to. So, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I believe he only wrote the first 3, and then after he passed away, other authors have since continued the series. Now, I also believe there is an adaptation. I'm not super big. You can't even see me. Let's just... Yeah, okay, I'm not even a big TV girly, but here recently, I've been really wanting to start watching some adaptations because, especially my little Discord group, I have friends in there and they always talk about the movies or the TV shows that go along with books, and I'm just over here like, Little Miss FOMO, Little Miss, it ain't even FOMO, it's literally Little Miss Mo, Little Miss Missing Out. It does have a movie, and I remember the movie being released well over a decade ago, and I haven't watched it because I've always been you know, the first person to be like, I am going to read the book first. And here we are. Many years later. Murder mystery, family saga, love story, and financial intrigue. It's about the disappearance of 40 years ago of Harriet Wenger, a young scion of one of the wealthiest families in Sweden, and about her octogenarian uncle determined to know the truth about what he believes was her murder. I don't know, but this cover's cute. Okay, so we're gonna then move on over to some fantasy books. I'm not gonna add any more thrillers or mysteries to the list because I feel like a lot of the ones that I've been reading this year have been kind of a dud to the point where they're putting me in reading slumps. I'm currently in one. I don't want to talk about it, but here I am talking about it. Whatever. So we're moving on to fantasy because I feel like this fall, winter, we're going to be in our fantasy bag. Is that how you say it? I'm too old for this. But the first book on the list, I don't know anything about. And I feel like with fantasy, I prefer to go, because I feel like if I read the synopsis of a fantasy book, I'm still a bit confused until I actually dive into the book and start reading the book and then understanding the world and the magic systems and the politics, if there's any, and things like that. You know what I mean? So this one I don't know much about. Honestly, truthfully, all of that I know is the magic has something to do with metal, I think. I don't know, girl, but it's Mistborn. I know, her time is finally here. I have read one other book by Brandon Sanderson, and it was Tress of the Emerald Sea. Absolutely loved it. The writing, phenomenal. The vibes, phenomenal. I gave it 5 stars, loved it. I have since been buying a bunch of his books, and I have yet to read any more. So I feel like I hear this is a really good place to start is with the Mistborn trilogy. So this is book number 1. What if the whole world were a dead, blasted wasteland? I don't know, but I'm really excited for this one. This next one is also a very loved fantasy book. It is one that people give 5 stars, 6 stars, favorite book of the year kind of fantasy books, okay? It's also one that I was in a buddy reading group in my Discord, and everybody read it except me because I was in the middle of a reading slump and I felt like it would have been a bad time to pick up a potentially 5-star read while I was in a reading slump because I felt like if I wasn't in the mood to read, it'd be like homework. I don't know. So everybody in the Discord group read it and loved it, and here I am on the sidelines like, I digress. All of that to say, Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong is on the list. And again, with fantasy books, I typically don't know a ton about them. Literally, the only thing that I know is you're following a mother and son duo. The Poppy Wars darkness meets The Last Airbender's elemental magic. I haven't read either of those. Is The Last Airbender a book? Or a show? I don't even know. Anyway, sorry I can't give you much on it because I don't know much, but I will know much when I read it. Did you say it was fall? Fall is literally approaching. Stores have all the Halloween stuff out. I have my Halloween Scentsy burner going, my little pumpkin jar out. I'm like searching for all of the pumpkin things. Fall is here. And when I think of fall, I think of witchiness, okay? I love a good fictional witchy book. I try to at least read one every year around the fall time. And this year, I'm picking one. The whole thing for this video is for me to like pick books that genuinely, I need to read them because it's been a minute. You need to read them, Beth. The time is now. Okay, so the one that I chose is one that's been on my shelf for a minute, and I feel like it's an iconic witchy book, right? Because it's written by V. Anne Rice, and it's called The Witching Hour. So a lot of the times I read witchy books, and they don't hit. It gives cheesy, it gives Hallmark movie, it gives like double toil and trouble, but even worse. It's not great. It's not great. I want like witchiness, like a lot of witchiness in the books. I want to like smell the cauldron boiling in the book. I want spells to be cast. I want it to be dark. I want it to be that big. You know what I mean? And I feel like this could be that. This could be, there is no synopsis on the book. You just have the beautiful Anne Rice. And I just bought this because when I mentioned to people that I love reading witchy books, I've had this mentioned a few times. There's not even a it just goes into chapter 1. There's not a single synopsis. I feel like I'm very close to you. Let me look on Goodreads really quick, and so I can kind of give you a little something. Okay, so first off, it is a 3-book trilogy. Had no idea. Second off, it is rated a 4.10 on Goodreads with over 120,000 ratings. That is a lot. And second off, this is a very, very long synopsis. I'm just going to read you the very tip top of it. Demonstrating once again her gift for spellbinding storytelling and the creation of legend, Anne Rice makes real for us a great dynasty of witches, a family given to poetry and to incest, to murder and to philosophy, a family that over the ages is itself haunted by a powerful, dangerous, and seductive being. On the veranda of a great New Orleans house, now faded, a mute and fragile woman sits rocking, and the witching hour begins. It begins in our time with the rescue at sea. Rowan Mayfair, a beautiful woman, a brilliant practitioner of neurosurgery. This is why Beth is not a doctor, because she can't even pronounce words, much less. Aware that she has special powers, but unaware that she comes from an ancient line of witches, finds the drowned body of a man off the coast of California and brings him to life. He is Michael Curry, who is born in New Orleans and orphaned in childhood by fire on Christmas Eve, who pulled himself up from poverty. Again, this is okay, that's enough of the synopsis, but that sounds good. That sounds like it's gonna be witchy, okay? I'm kind of worried about the whole incest part, but girl, there is a lot of thick books on this stack. So I'm gonna now browse for a few things. Literally 3.5 months left of the year, so I need to pick some lighter reads. Please hold. Bringing you over here back to the lighter side of life with a romance book. Okay, so but this one's a little different because it is a Christmas book, and I was sent this advanced reader's copy. I was sent this, and I've recently discovered last Christmas season that Christmas books aren't for me for the most part. 9 out of 10 times it's too cheesy, or it's overly sexualized, there's really no plot, or you know what I mean, or it doesn't feel like Christmas, like it doesn't hit. And I am a Christmas girly through and through. Christmas is my favorite holiday. You best believe the moment we are back from trick-or-treating, my tree is going up. I love Christmas, but Christmas books just don't do it for me. I've maybe read, I don't know, 2 or 3 that I actually enjoyed, and I've probably read like 40 total. It's very rare. So I said if I didn't read this Christmas season, I was going to get rid of it because I'm not buying Christmas books anymore because they don't do it for me unless you can change my mind. Okay, so let's read the back. It says, all bets are off when a single-minded photographer and a professional hockey player are forced to spend a week together in his sister's Christmas tree farm. Perfect for fans of Jenny Holiday. I have no idea who or what Jenny Holiday is. Maisie Smart has a don't look back policy, not on the choice she made to be a photographer despite her family's wishes, and not on the one-night stand she had 6 months ago. Sleeping with someone she barely knew was out of character. Sleeping with a professional hockey player, so they've slept together for a one-night stand 6 months ago, and now they're forced to spend a week together on a Christmas tree farm. I just recently read one that had something to do with the Christmas tree farm, and it felt nothing like Christmas. I don't remember what it was. I'll put it right here. So I'm hoping this one actually feels like Christmas. So this is book number 9. We need to pick one more book. I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to pick. Okay, and the last book is another romance book, and I hear it's a heartbreaking romance book. It says, he puts his hand against my chest. It's still beating, he whispers. His words, a soft kiss on my lips. As long as it's beating, you're okay. Oh my gosh. When Cora Lawson attends her sister's birthday party, she expects, at most, a hangover or a walk of shame by the end of it. She doesn't anticipate a stolen wallet, leaving her stranded and dependent on her sister's fiancé, Dean Ashley. Asher, her arch nemesis and perpetual thorn in her side. And she really doesn't anticipate getting knocked out and waking up chained in a madman's basement, Dean in his own shackles beside her. Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. I feel like I've read something by this author. Or maybe I've just seen this book so much that the name is that I don't know. It doesn't matter. I digress. I've never read the synopsis of this book. Someone very sweetly sent this book to me, and it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. Jess, thank you. Jess from Instagram. If I would have read the synopsis a lot sooner, I feel like I would have read this a lot. That sounds so... Now, if they fall in love, I don't know, because he's her sister's fiance. I don't know, but that sounded good as book. I didn't even read the whole thing. I just read like the top part. Anyway, this is book number 10. I feel like I need to start this one. I really want to start this one now. Anyway, let me know down below what's your 10 before the end. What are some books on your TBR that you've been wanting to get to? A lot of people use this 10 before the end to read books that came out in the year. So like they would be doing a lot of 2025 new releases that they haven't got to yet, or anticipated releases that are coming out soon. I chose it as books that I feel like I should have been read. I feel like that's a good one. And I put the little spin on it. These have to be read before the end of the year, which means I need to get to work, which means we gotta go, okay? So let me go.